To understand English and improve your vocabulary, you need input. In this video, you will improve your English listening and speaking skills with a true story. Imagine this. A man approaches a stranger in New York and tells him that he owns one of the most famous bridges in the world. Then he offers to sell it to him, and the stranger agrees. It sounds impossible, but stories like this really did happen in New York. This is the strange story of George C. Parker, the con man who sold the Brooklyn Bridge. It was the late 1800s, and New York City was growing rapidly. Thousands of people were arriving in the city, hoping to build a better life. For many newcomers, New York was exciting, but also confusing. The city was enormous, with new streets, businesses, buildings, and opportunities everywhere. And one of the most impressive sights in the city was the Brooklyn Bridge. The bridge opened in 1883 and connected Manhattan to Brooklyn across the East River. At the time, it was one of the world's most impressive suspension bridges, and it quickly became a symbol of New York. For con men, famous landmarks could also provide an unusual opportunity. One of those con men was George C. Parker. Parker was a professional criminal who made money by pretending to own property that did not belong to him. He used different names and identities during his criminal career, and he became particularly associated with scams involving famous New York landmarks. The Brooklyn Bridge was one of his most famous targets. The basic idea was simple. Parker would convince someone that he had the right to sell the Brooklyn Bridge. He would then produce official-looking documents to make the story appear legitimate. The documents were, of course, fake, but Parker's confidence was very real. He knew that if someone believed his story, the rest of the scam could become surprisingly easy. He would tell potential buyers that owning the bridge could be an excellent business opportunity. They could supposedly control access to the bridge and make money by charging people to cross it. Today, that idea sounds ridiculous, but imagine hearing it in New York in the late 19th or early 20th century, when the Brooklyn Bridge was still relatively new and incredibly impressive. A confident businessman tells you that he owns it. He shows you documents. He explains how you could make money from it. And suddenly, you start thinking about the possibilities. That was the trick. Parker wasn't simply selling a bridge. He was selling the idea of becoming rich. According to accounts of the scam, some victims actually tried to take control of the bridge after handing over their money. They attempted to set up toll booths so they could collect money from people crossing. Of course, they didn't own the bridge, and police had to stop them. Imagine discovering that the bridge you had just bought wasn't yours at all. And the Brooklyn Bridge wasn't the only famous landmark that Parker was associated with. He was also linked to scams involving places such as Grant's Tomb, Madison Square Garden, and the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Accounts also connected him with a scam involving the Statue of Liberty. The details of these individual scams are not always easy to verify, but many stories about Parker were repeated long after the events supposedly took place. We do know that Parker was a real criminal with a long history of arrests and convictions. He also used different aliases. An alias is a different name someone uses instead of their real name. In fact, even his name is surprisingly complicated. Reports sometimes identified him as John McCarthy or William McCloundy. So was his name really George C. Parker? And then, in 1928, police finally caught up with him. By this time, Parker was an older man. He had spent years moving from one scheme to another, using different identities and finding new ways to trick people. Police had been looking for him for several weeks. Then, on June 29th, 1928, they found him in Asbury Park, New Jersey, behind the Windsor Hotel on 3rd Avenue. He was holding a tape measure. According to reports, he appeared to be measuring a property, apparently preparing another fake real estate scheme. After all those years of fake stories, fake documents, false identities, and supposed property deals, Parker was apparently still trying to sell something that wasn't his. This time, however, the police were ready. Parker was taken into custody, and his career as a conman was finally coming to an end. Parker was sentenced to life imprisonment at Sing Sing Maximum Security Prison, which provided severe sentences for repeat offenders. He spent the rest of his life in prison and died on January 9th, 1937, at the age of 76. The phrase, "If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you," is still used today. It means that someone believes something that is obviously untrue or extremely difficult to believe. For example, imagine your friend tells you that he has discovered a secret way to become a millionaire in 1 week. You might laugh and say, "If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you." The Brooklyn Bridge, of course, is still standing. People cross it every day, and nobody is allowed to sell it to you. Here is a quick quiz to see how much of the story you understood. Don't forget to press pause so you have more time to answer the questions, and most importantly, answer the questions out loud for speaking practice. Are you ready? Why was the Brooklyn Bridge important in the 1800s? And the answer is, it was a famous new landmark connecting Brooklyn and Manhattan. What did George C. Parker say he could sell? He said he had the right to sell property, including the Brooklyn Bridge and other famous landmarks. How did he make his scams seem believable? He used confidence, convincing stories, different identities, and official-looking documents. Why would someone want to buy the Brooklyn Bridge? And the answer is, they were led to believe they could make money by controlling access to the bridge and charging people to cross it. What happened when victims tried to control the bridge? The answer is, police stopped them because they didn't actually own the bridge. What does the following expression mean? If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. It means that you believe something that is obviously not true. What do you think of this story? It's quite close to another story I covered on my channel about the man who sold the Eiffel Tower. Would you have believed George Parker if he approached you with a bridge to sell? Let me know in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really supports my work. And if you're ready for another true story to improve your English today, then you can click here. I'll see you there. Take care.